With the World Cup right around the corner, we decided to look at who are the best players for each team that's competing in the 2022 World Cup. The 2022 World Cup, hosted by Qatar this year, will begin at the end of November and should conclude just past the middle of December. Couple things of note, as this is an American YouTube channel, we will reference the sport of soccer as soccer and not football. Second note, we will be grouping players within their confederations rather than by the groups of the World Cup. And third note, some pronunciations of either teams or players' names may be wrong or butchered. You can feel free to make fun of us in the comments section below. First up, we're going to start with the Asian Football Confederation. The Asian Football Confederation is comprised of teams in Asia and the Middle East, ranging from Saudi Arabia to India to China, all the way down to Australia. We're going to start with Australia. Australia is a pick between two players. Who is their best player? Aaron Mooy and Martin Boyle. Mooy is a midfielder for the Scottish Premiership team Celtic. He's been on the Australian national team ever since 2012. Martin Boyle is a right-sided winger who plays for Hibernian in the Scottish Premiership. He's been on the national team for Australia since 2018. Next, we head over to Iran, who also has two players who can be considered the best players on the team for the World Cup. The first is Mehdi Taremi, who's a striker for Porto. He's been with Porto ever since 2020, and he's been on the Iran national team since 2015. The other player for Iran is Sardar Azmoun, who is 27, plays for Bayer Leverkusen. Before that, he played in the Russian league at Zenit St. Petersburg. He's been on the Iran national team since 2014, and he's a forward. He's actually the second most expensive Iranian player of all time, and he's the youngest Iranian to score in a UEFA Championships League game. Next would be a Japanese player, Daisuke Kamada, for the Japanese national team. He's been on the Japanese national team ever since 2019. Currently plays in the German soccer league for Frankfurt. He's a midfielder and he's only 26 years old. Going over to host nation Qatar, Akram Afif, who's a left winger for Al Sadd, which is a Qatari club. He won the Asian Footballer of the Year award in 2019. Been on the national team since 2015, is also only 26. Next, we're going to jump over to South Korea for Sung Heung-min, who's a forward for Tottenham in the English Premier League. He's also captain for the South Korean national team, considered one of the best forwards in the world, one of the greatest Asian football players or soccer players of all time. He's been on the national team since 2010, even though he's only 30 years old. And the last Asian team would be Saudi Arabia. And the best player on Saudi Arabia should be Salim Al Dawsari, who's a winger for Al Hilal, which is a Saudi Arabian team. He's been on the national team since 2011. He's aged 31. Next, we'll be headed to the CAF, or the Confederation of African Football, where there are 5 teams representing the CAF in the World Cup this year. First up will be Senegal, which is Sadio Mane. Played on the Senegal team since 2012, 30 years old. Currently plays for Bayern Munich. For that, he played for Liverpool, Southampton, and then Redbird Salzburg. He's had a pretty good career so far. He's a forward. He's considered one of the best players in the world and among the greatest African players of all time. Next, we traverse to Cameroon for Andre Frank Zambo Anguissa. Plays for Napoli in the Serie A, which is the Italy soccer league. He's a defensive midfielder. He's only 26, so you should see him in the next World Cup as well. He's been on the Cameroon team since 2017. Going over to the next team, which is Ghana, their best player is Thomas Partey, who's a midfielder for the Premier League team Arsenal. He's been on the Ghana national team since 2016. He's 29 years old. Before Arsenal, he played for Atletico Madrid. When he was transferred to Arsenal, he became the most expensive player from Ghana of all time. In 2018, he was named on the CAF Team of the Year, and in 2018 and 2019, he won Ghana Player of the Year. Next, we head to Tunisia for Alias Skahari, plays for the German club FC Cologne. He's been on the Tunisian national team since 2018. He's 27 years old, and he is a midfielder. Next, we go to Morocco. Achraf Hakimi, who plays right back and occasionally plays as attacking fullback. Currently plays for PSG or Paris Saint-Germain. He's had a pretty good career so far. Started out with Real Madrid, went to Dortmund on a loan, played for Inter Milan after that, and now currently with PSG. He's been on the national team since 2016. He's only 24 years old. Next, we will head over to the South American Football Confederation, also known as CONMEBOL. First will be Argentina, whose best player is obviously Messi. Messi's been with the Argentinian national team since 2005. He's 35, and this is expected to be his last World Cup, so look for them to be contenders on winning it all. Currently playing for PSG, and before that he had a long career with Barcelona. He's highly regarded as one of the best players in the world. Next we go to Brazil. Brazil's best player is Neymar. He's been with the Brazilian national team since 2010. He's 30 years old. He currently also plays with Messi on PSG. Before that, he played with Messi as well at Barcelona. He's, again, one of the best players in the world as well. Going to Ecuador, Pervis Estebania, who's a left back. He's 24 years old, been on the Ecuador national team since 2019. Currently plays for Britain and Hove Albion, which is a Premier League club. And last for the South American teams would be Uruguay. And their best player is Luis Suarez, who's a striker, 35 years old as well. Been on the team since 2007. He used to play for Atletico Madrid, but now plays for his first team he's ever played for, which is Nacional, which is a team based in Uruguay. And he's regarded as one of the greatest strikers of all time. Next, we are headed over to CONCACAF, whose members are from North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. First up would be Canada. Their best player is Alphonso Davies. He's a left back or winger, plays for Bayern Munich over in Germany. He's been on the Canadian national team since 2017. He's only 22 currently. He's considered one of the faces of the Canadian national team, and he was named the 2021 CONCACAF Men's Player of the Year. Next, we're headed over to Costa Rica for Keylor Navas. Navas is a goalkeeper for PSG. Been with PSG since 2019. He's 35 years old. Been with the Costa Rica national team since 2008. He's considered one of the best goalkeepers in the world currently. Next, going over to Mexico, Raul Jimenez, who's a forward for Premier League club Wolverhampton. He's 31 years old. He's been on the Mexican national team since 2013, and he's considered a prolific striker. And finally, over to the United States of America, Christian Pulisic, who's an attacking midfielder or winger, currently plays for the Premier League club Chelsea. Before that, he played for Dortmund. He's been on the national team since 2016. He's only currently 24 years old. He's the youngest player ever to captain the United States national team in the modern era. The last league we will look at is the UEFA League, which is the Union of European Football Associations, which consists of 13 of the 32 World Cup teams in 2022. First is going to be Poland, which is Robert Lewandowski, who's a striker for Barcelona and the captain of the Polish national team. Been on the Polish national team since 2018, and he's 34 years old. He's considered one of the best strikers of all time. Before Barcelona, he played for Bayern Munich. Next is Belgium, and their best player is Kevin De Bruyne. He's a midfielder for Manchester City. He's 31 years old. He's been on the Belgian national team since 2010. Been with Man City since 2015. He's described as a complete footballer and is one of the best in the world currently and of his generation. Next is for France, Kylian Mbappe. He's a forward for PSG. He's 23 but been on the France national team since 2017. He's been with PSG since 2017 as well. He's considered one of the best in the world and is renowned for his dribbling, speed, and finishing ability. Next, we head over to Portugal for Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo's 37, been on the national team since 2003. Most recently, he started playing with Manchester United again. Before that, he had stints with Juventus and Real Madrid. Considered one of the best in the world, along with Messi, and has loads of individual and team trophies and accomplishments to his name. Next, we head over to Germany. Joshua Kimmich, who's a defensive midfielder or right back, currently plays for Bayern Munich since 2015. He's Been on the national team since 2016, and he's 27 years old. Next, we head over to Croatia for Luka Modric. He's 37 currently. He's been on the national team since 2016, and he currently plays for Real Madrid. He's a midfielder and is considered one of the greatest midfielders of all time, and one of the greatest Croatian footballers ever. Headed over to Denmark, Pierre-Emil Højbjerg, 27, currently plays for Tottenham. He's played on the national team since 2017. Headed over to England. England's best player is Henry Kane. He's a striker for Tottenham. Been with the English team since 2015. He's 29 years old. He's a captain on the national team, one of the best strikers in the world. He's the second highest all-time top goal scorer for both Tottenham and England, and the third highest goal scorer all-time for the Premier League in England. Going over to the Netherlands, Frenkie de Jong, who's a midfielder for Barcelona. He's 25. He's been with Barcelona since 2019, been on the national team since 2018. He's one of the best midfielders in the world. He's known for his vision, passing, dribbling technique, and other defensive and attacking abilities. Going over to Serbia, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. He's a midfielder for Lazio in Serie A in Italy. He's been with Lazio since 2015. He's 27 years old. Been on the national team since 2017. Going over to Spain, Rodri. He's a defensive midfielder for Man City. Been with Man City since 2019. Been with the Spanish national team since 2018. Headed over to Switzerland, Granit Xhaka. He's a captain for the national team. He's been playing on the national team since 2011. He's 30 years old. Plays for Arsenal as well since 2016. And the last player would be from Wales, Gareth Bale. He's a winger for LAFC, Los Angeles Football Club. Been with LAFC since 2022. Been on the national team since 2006. And there's the complete list for best players for each of the World Cup national teams for 2022. If you think we butchered some names, let us know in the comments below. If you think other players are deserving of these titles for their current teams, or maybe for future World Cups, also let us know below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe as well, or check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.